one. This jam.
Jam's over.
Yeah, I know.
Jam's over.
Jamming is over. I think we need to maybe get a new song though.
I mean, we can. I still dig that one.
Okay, start it out. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Thank you for joining the premier Geek podcast, OZ and the Freak Talk Geek. I'm OZ.
And I'm the Freak. And today's topic is dwarves or dwarves with an F or a D.
Right.
It says at the title.
The week. So when this podcast has dropped, it's going to be right before Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, the Disney remake, hits the movie theaters. So I thought we'd have a little bit of discussion about Snow White and the Seven Dwarves and kind of parlay that into more dwarf topic.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. I tried to look up positive stuff about this for this episode. I really drew short.
I see what you did there.
Also, I'd like to point out that despite the episode being called dwarf versus dwarf, it's almost like it's also being kind of hosted by two dwarfs.
I mean,
you definitely beat me in the beard department, but still,
with a beard you can hang from.
I'm short and fat and hairy too.
There we go. Well, look, I thought we might have an issue when talking about this topic, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, because of all the controversy that's surrounding it.
So much controversy, like immediately too, dude. Like, I think this is worse than Sonic the Hedgehog.
So, yeah, but, I mean, this has been going on for a while. I don't want to harp too much on it, and that's why I kind of wanted to kind of go into the topic of dwarves in general, as in the fantasy dwarves.
Correct.
But I did want to start off. Okay, so we know Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, and the images that I sent you, I numbered for this.
Oh, I took them out of order.
Okay,
that's on me.
Okay, so we know the original Disney Snow White and Seven Dwarves, right?
Yes, these guys.
That's not the image I sent you. That's even better.
Nope, but that image is next, so that we can give everybody their names. So this is the original seven dwarves from Snow White and the Seven Dwarves.
Right, but they are named. There, that is. Oh,
see, I had a little bit better one. I told you I had almost the same images.
Yeah, you did. But did you know that Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, in the original Grimm's fairy tale, the dwarves didn't have names?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they didn't get their names until like a 1915 play.
1915? That's how old this shit goes back?
Bro, okay, the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarves is a 19th century Brothers Grimm tale. So we're talking, this was originally published in 1857.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
So, these dwarves, at least in this setting, predate Tolkien.
So now, in the original one, in the Grimm's one that we're talking about, did Disney them up? Or were they short white guys with big long white beards?
Okay, so they kind of leaned into more the Germanic folklore of what dwarves are, which are so we're going to get into this topic later because
sorry. We can discuss that later.
No, you're fine. I'm just trying to get my source. I hadn't really. I'm working.
Excuse me.
With a lot of moving parts over here on this side. I'm trying to get, but anyway. So yes, no, they were not. Let's see if they have the original description in here. Seven Dwarves.
I'm Googling it now too. So supernatural.
Disney did Disneyfy them. They gave them their names. but what were their original names in the play? They can't find anymore now. Oh well.
The original names of the Seven Dwarves were Blick, Glick, Glick, Snick, Wick, Quee, and Plick.
There they are. Okay. Then it got Disneyfied. I made it less deadly, and I don't even think that what happened with the evil queen. At the end of the evil, anyway, we all know the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Mirror, mirror on the wall. The evil queen's jealous.
Magic mirror on the wall.
Magic mirror on the wall.
That's like a huge misconception. People have always thought it was the phrases mirror, mirror on the wall, but it's always been magic mirror on the wall.
Right. That's one of those like Berenstain Bear things.
Mm-hmm.
What are those called? Okay. So
like
we got
Luke, I am your father type deal.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got Sneezy, Grumpy, Dopey, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, and Doc. These. Okay, so this is what we were expecting. This is what we've seen before. When they first introduced that they were going to be doing live action Snow White, there was some background or some behind the scenes footage that got filmed, and we were going to get not only a person of color for Snow White, but we were also going to get these guys as our dwarves.
So I kept my picture for these instead of yours.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a memes section for this episode because there's been so much backlash and so many memes that have been made out of this.
Okay, so there's been so much made out of this mainly because Peter Dinklage has come out and lambasted the whole production, criticizing Disney for making progressive casting choices while still including dwarf characters in the story, which he saw as regressive.
Yeah, constantly basically casting dwarfs to play literally dwarfs.
Right, and this is kind of where I wanted to go into the topic about this, because when you saw Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, or when you read Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, did you immediately think of people with dwarfism, or were you like me and assumed that they were just like magical people?
I immediately thought because from a young age I read Tolkien, and then I was thinking the short, stocky, hairy people.
Right. Not necessarily the person who may have dwarfism.
Exactly. Dwarfism never came into it.
Right. So like the whole thing about dwarfism based on when people who have dwarfism, that is what some of them prefer to be called, a dwarf or somebody of short stature, little people. And it's just but it's I never really they're not, when I hear the word dwarf, I don't think little people.
Yeah.
I think of magical beings.
Yeah,
fantasy beings like Willow, or what we've seen in Lord of the Rings, or even, I don't know, something else, but not little people. And this whole thing with Peter Dinklage is going on, and now Dinklage is going on, and then now Disney has turned and they've CGI'd the dwarves, which now they don't even look like they were ever human beings at all. And let's see, do you have that?
Yeah, I got several of these.
So yeah, I mean they don't even look like the cartoon brought to life either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see this guy right here? excuse me, you see this guy right here?
I'm assuming that's Grumpy.
I'm assuming Grumpy too. But you know who he immediately makes me think of?
On the He-Man live action movie.
Gwildum, whatever his name is.
Oh.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's his name. Damn it.
Gwildor.
Gwildor. So, but that's not who I was thinking of. Honestly,
Now-
seeing that guy makes me think of Hoggle.
Yeah.
Same cap and everything, and I looked it up too to figure out what he is. You know, Hoggle is the groundskeeper for the labyrinth, and he actually is a dwarf,
There you
which
go, magical creature.
was played by a midget, but he doesn't look like a person with dwarfism. So, yeah, that was literally like my
I
first
did not think about Hoggle. Yeah.
I kind of spoiled that for later, but I've got a list of like some famous dwarf references.
Excellent. So I kind of wanted to, like, as we were talking about this and where I always, these just look, Dopey looks okay.
Oh my God, he looks like DJ Qualls. You know who that is, right?
Yes, I do.
Dopey looks like DJ Qualls. If you don't know who DJ Qualls is, he was in Supernatural for a little bit, but he was in Euro Trip. He's the main character from The New Guy. You know, he would do the stare thing when he got all hard and shit. But he totally looks like DJ Qualls.
He does. Oh my God.
That's so freaking hilarious. I didn't even realize that. I gotta plug my mouse in. It's dying. There you go. Resurrected. Oh no, it's not charging. Why isn't it charging?
Yeah. So I don't know where Disney's going with this. I'm assuming that this is going to be just like a real, like, true remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. There's not going to change much of the plot at all. They're not going to add the real ending of the evil queen burning to death.
Be cooler if they did.
Well, yeah, it would be cooler if they did. And that's okay. You know, this is Disney. This is Disney's money. This is their property. You know, I mean, granted, they've bastardized enough Grimm's fairy tales to, you know, make a living on, but really wanted me to bring up the topic of dwarves and fantasy. Especially like whenever we play D&D and stuff, I really enjoy playing dwarves. And I thought, what better time than to talk about them now?
Okay. Before we really jump on to the dwarf topic, let's go through some of these pictures that I pulled up.
Okay, sure.
I have to share some of these because some of them are pretty funny. So, as you were saying, there's huge backlash on the dwarfs for Snow White. One of the first images I even pull up was this one. People do not like this. Let's see.
But do they like it more than the not CGI? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. This is another one that first came up too. These are like the first second pictures. These are just
kill
about
them
the
with
dwarves.
fire. My God.
Now, a lot of people also have a problem with the casting for Snow White.
Now,
so take it. And I'm sorry, Lord Farquaad did it better.
Rachel, I think it's Ziegler. She's a beautiful young woman, and I'm sure she's going to act. She's going to act and sing her little ass off for this movie. But why the queen is jealous of her, I don't know. Especially when we have Gal Gadot as the evil queen.
Yeah.
All right. So who says Snow White has to be white? Everyone who reads, it's in the name, Snow White. Her skin was white as snow.
I mean, it's literally right out of the Disney book.
It's even not even the Disney book. It was in the Grimm's fairy tale.
But this was also included in the Disney book.
Right.
Like that's something they kept. You know.
Yeah, there you go.
Evil queen who is jealous of her looks. Come on, man. Like,
yeah.
And then that goes to question the rest of the Snow Whites.
I saw this meme the other day. This is awesome.
Every single time they've made the queen hot. And every single time they've made Snow White just kind of Kristen Stewart, come on, man. She has one emotion.
I forgot she was Snow White and the Huntsman.
The Huntsman.
Right. I'm looking at Charlize Theron. I was like, when was she? Oh yeah.
That one, yeah. And then Once Upon a Time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this isn't new. This is not new. This is, I guess, just Disney keeping up with the pattern.
I guess so. My God.
I think I got. So we already saw that one.
Yeah. Magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? It is you, my queen, and lived happily ever after.
And I think, oh yeah, so.
Bitch, please, 13 dwarfs. Now that's gangster.
And then there's this one.
When you realize the mirror was the real liar. Yeah.
A marriage was just bored, just want to instigate shit at this point. All right, so now my next thing I wanted to do,
sure,
if it's okay with you, I want to jump into other movies with famous dwarfs. Now, these are fantasy and I guess technically people with dwarfism. I don't know, but they're all dwarfs. So the first one, we have the man himself. We've already mentioned him too.
Yes, we did.
Willow
Ufgood.
And kind of like, Robin Hood, we have his merry men. Oh, that's so small. There we go.
There we go.
And he's actually a very famous one. If you've ever seen Bad Santa.
Oh, yeah.
Bad Santa and Me, Myself, and Irene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Again, like these were... They were actors with dwarvism, but they weren't... They were playing fantasy dwarves.
They were playing fantasy dwarves.
I don't know why, but it's a separate partitioned thing in my head.
Yeah. And like, I know Peter Dinklage has this issue, but I also want to point out that everybody in this picture is actually pretty happy.
Yeah.
It's not very often they get casted to do something unless it's a little guy, for the exception of Peter Dinklage, who at first somehow is playing a horrible, horrible, horrible looking toxic Avenger. Don't even get me started on that.
Well, he's not the body performer of Toxie.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know. Even still, it looks horrible.
I kind of like it.
I hate it. That nasty black eye thing.
I kind of like that. That's a little part of the thing that I like about it.
So if he's not playing Toxie, though, like, I wonder if that picture is a picture of his transformation. Because you can clearly see those are the hands. The fingers are like this long.
No, I didn't look up who the body actor was. I didn't know if it was a person of short stature as well.
I don't know.
I did not look that up. I just saw the picture, and I saw that he wasn't in the suit. Peter Dinklage wasn't going to be in the suit, so I was like, fair enough. Let's go. I like it.
I'm a big fan of the original, I guess. I don't know. I don't. I'm going to give it a shot. Toxic Avenger as well as the Toxic Crusaders, the cartoon. But I just... Quit fucking redoing good, successful films.
Okay. Toxic Avenger is not a good, successful film.
Dude, okay, so there is a huge following of Lloyd Kaufman and the entire Troma film. Like he has his own like following fans.
Sure.
To the point where there's like a channel specifically that you can download that is just Tromaville.
Yes,
I'm just saying.
Is niche.
Yeah, it is very niche, but
that doesn't mean it's successful. Doesn't mean it's popular either. Like
it's got its own following, though. Is all I'm saying.
Sure. So does like Pastafarianism or Scientology. You know, like
yeah, but they're not going to remake Scientology. Tom Cruise will go bankrupt.
Oh my god.
Anyways, moving along. Let's see what we got next. So we have your Tolkien fantasy dwarfs. One of the first ones from Tolkien to reach the the silver screen. We've got Gimli here.
Gimli.
Wasn't it Gimli, son of Gloin? Yeah. So Gimli from the first 3 films, Lord of the Rings. And he's
played by not a person of small stature either.
A very big stature, by the way. He is a big guy. I can't even remember the damn name of the actor right now.
Me either.
And they did so much makeup on him that it was messing up his face to the point of like he wouldn't actually even go out with the crew, but he stuck to it, man, and he gave like the performance of his life. Everybody loves Gimli. I love Gimli. Gimli was amazing.
John Rhys Davies,
thank you. Who is probably maybe even 6 foot tall. I wouldn't know, but the dude he's a big man. He's a big guy.
Big dude. Let me see if IMDb has it.
Okay. Are you looking that up?
Yeah.
Go on to your fantasy realm here.
6'1".
Yeah, 6'1". Proof is in the pudding right there. It's literally just cinematography tricks to make him appear shorter, and to make Gandalf appear twice the height of him.
Right.
It's just camera tricks. This is something that Tolkien did that was so simple that it could be done everywhere else, but people don't want to do that for some reason. Right. So here, this is one that you submitted.
Yeah, this is a Warhammer dwarf.
I was just going to say it looks very Warhammer-ish.
So I wanted to add this one because one of the things that I remember about you and I when we first started hanging out was you were painting Warhammer.
Miniatures.
Thank you.
Yep.
And
I played elves and I played dwarves.
And I remember you gave me a dwarf and you gave me pieces, and I made my own. Yeah. And I started painting my own over it, hanging out with you and doing that. And I like doing it. I was like, oh, that's just not a hobby for me, but thank you for letting me do it. It was a lot of fun.
And that was in the early 2000s. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. And it's just a badass dwarf. So these are like badass creatures.
I mean, yeah, technically dwarves they're a
people.
Race, you want to put them in they are technically creatures in the fantasy world, the fantasy setting.
Right. So as in Dungeons and Dragons, they have them listed as a humanoid race. Yeah. One of the primary races available for player characters. But the idea for D&D dwarf comes from the dwarves of European mythologies and J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings novels. Yeah. And
there is a lot of heavy influence there.
Right. Of course. Let's see. Dwarves in folklore is a type of supernatural being from Germanic folklore. Accounts of dwarves vary significantly throughout history. They're commonly, but not exclusively, presented as living in mountains or stones and being skilled craftsmen. In early literary sources, only males are explicitly referred to as dwarves. However, they are described as having sisters and daughters, while male and female dwarves feature in later saga literature and folklore. Dwarves are sometimes described as short. However, scholars have noted that this is neither explicit nor relevant to their role in the earliest sources.
Yeah, I mean, so I think in Germanic lore, dwarves are actually very large beings.
Right, and we actually even saw that referenced in what was the Avengers?
It was Thor: Love and Thunder. No, not Thor: Love. I think it might have been Thor: Love and Thunder.
No.
But long story short, you know who played the dwarf that was huge?
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage. This guy can't make up his mind what he wants to do.
No.
So let's see. We also have this one, which again, this is taken almost directly out of Warhammer. Actually,
This is actually a D&D dwarf.
I was actually say this looks more. I would say looking at the art, it looks more like Pathfinder or D&D.
Mm-hmm.
But that pickaxe looks like it's out of Warhammer.
Right. Well, this is actually showing more of like the source material of dwarves being the miners, the craftsmen, the ones digging under the ground to get their material. I love how the candles melted on his helmet.
Yeah,
this is actually cool. I think the first image I saw of a D&D dwarf.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think this is like from second edition.
Damn. I don't remember this.
Now I'm looking at it, yeah, because even got the steel boots.
Yeah.
Wow,
but this is like the go-to. This one and this one. When I think dwarves, this is kind of what I think.
Right.
Yeah, this is the fantasy race of dwarf. When I hear the name dwarf. Now, when I hear a dwarf, I don't think of people with dwarfism.
No.
Now, I'm old school. You can call me whatever name you want. But if I hear the word midget, then I immediately think of a person with dwarfism. And people can say midget is a bad word, but you know what? I disagree. The reason why I disagree is because there is literally midget wrestling.
Okay.
And the word midget is literally all across their banners and everything. They embrace the word midget there in midget wrestling.
So I was actually looking this up, and midget is the term midget comes from. It means biting bug. Right, and it was appropriated and popularized by P.T. Barnum of Barnum and Bailey circuses and stuff like that. So it was like a carnival nickname for little people. The thing is,
let's just start calling him Peck.
Peck.
From Willow. Remember Willow? Matt Mardigan kept calling him a Peck.
Yeah.
Stop calling me that. Yeah, Peck. I guess in the world of Willow, Peck is a very derogatory word towards dwarfs.
Right. But some people own it, and I mean, they all not like Peter Dinklage is not the authority to speak for all people of dwarfism.
No, he's just the most famous. Well, one of the most famous.
Right. Him and Mini-Me.
Aw, R.I.P. Vern Troyer.
But anyway, so I really don't know where to go from here because I just really want
a couple more.
Okay, good.
I still have some more.
Yeah.
So
there they are.
I had to bring in the boys from The Hobbit.
The movie got shit, but I love all three of the Hobbit films.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've only seen the first two.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen the Battle of the Five the Battle of the Five Armies.
Yeah.
I've seen the first one and then Decimation of Smaug, which was awesome, dude. Benedict Cumberbatch was fucking phenomenal as the voice of Smaug.
And the face actor.
Yeah, he did do that's right. He did do the face. So
yeah, these guys are great. So not all of them.
Man, I can't remember the names either.
No, I can't either. Not all.
Waylon, Bailey, Boomer, Bomber. Oh shit!
Snap, crackle, pop. Not all of them read dwarf to me, but even from like fantasy background, like I can't see that these men were all from the same area. Like are they all supposed to be from Like, are they all mountain dwarves, or are they like
I
different types of dwarves?
man, don't catch me lying to you. I don't know. I think that they're all from different clans or they're different tribe. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
clans. But yeah, I don't even remember, to be honest with you. And for the longest time, Thor and Oakenshield. I don't know if that guy really is a dwarf or not, but he looks like a full size man.
Right? He's definitely the tallest of the dwarves,
Yeah,
and
that's Thorin right here.
he doesn't have like the bulbous features like the rest of them have.
No,
Him and the ones on the far left and the far right. I guess because they're the youngest.
what is that? That's Philly and Killy.
Yeah, they're like, but they're like the youngest of the dwarves. So maybe like those features that the rest of them have, they kind of get with age.
Yeah, and these ones have very similar kind of names. Like you got Balin, you got Boofer, Nori, Killy, Philly, Dory. You got Gloin, Dwaylen, Ori, Boomer. Uh, and you got Thorin,
Bomber.
Bomber. See, I never really knew exactly how to pronounce his name.
Did you ever watch the Rankin and Bass Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies?
Yes, yes.
I just wanted to
The
ask.
the animated cartoon series.
Not yeah.
I mean, I say series as in like trilogy, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Hoggle from the Labyrinth. Let's see here. Do you remember these guys?
I have never seen this movie. I know what
So
this is, but I've never seen it.
this is a film by Terry Gilliam. It was called Time Bandits.
Time Bandit.
A young British boy is shanghaied by 6 time traveling dwarves on the run from the Supreme Being. They have a map and all the holes in the universe, and they use it to rob the greatest characters in history. So that's the Time Bandits. I thought that was pretty cool and noteworthy. I haven't seen this since I was a kid, but
Every time I
had to
like
bring him up.
every time I like start over Netflix or start over a streaming service, I
Uh-huh.
wind up adding this movie to my watch list. Like it's on there to watch it. Like I know I'm supposed to watch it.
Yeah,
I've
this
just
this
never
came out
gotten
in
around to it.
1981.
Yeah. It's the year before I
So
was born.
had to bring her up because she
Who's
was
that?
a fucking badass. So that is Francesca Mills, who played Meldoff in The Witcher: Blood Origin. So the Witcher series, you actually have some dwarfs in there, and they are all played by little people. So it's the personification of dwarves playing dwarves. Now this chick here, though, she was in the Blood Origin, which is kind of like a prequel to all the Witcher shows that were currently out,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a dwarf character who portrayed as a foul-mouthed, powerful warrior, and she was a badass, and she's pretty fucking adorable too. I'm not gonna lie, like that. Like, come on, look at this face, dude. Like she was hilarious too.
Is she?
She was hilarious. You ever get a chance, you need to go back and watch The Witcher: Blood Origin. It was pretty good.
I think I watched the first season of Witcher and I stopped there.
Okay.
I didn't hate it. I didn't, no reason for me not to watch it.
Yeah. Let's see. What do we got next here? I think I got something more. Oh no, that's it. Peter Dinklage. I was gonna actually. I was respectful this time, and when I say this time, it's mostly because I really wanted to put a picture in for Peter Dinklage from the movie Elf, where he's getting pissed off that he kept calling him an elf.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. So I don't know, man. Like, I guess this is kind of the thing. We are not people of low stature. We are round and hairy, so we more resemble the fantasy characters more than we do
Yeah, I'm 5'8",
actual
fat, short, and hairy.
like, I don't know if this is even like for us to speak on, but I just find it silly.
Well, that's the thing, though. I don't necessarily think it's a thing for anybody to be able to specifically be able to speak on. I mean, are you talking about like dwarves as in like dwarven people, like in real world
Hmm.
dwarfism? I
Yeah.
mean, I guess I do see what you're saying as far as what's right and what's wrong.
Hmm.
But that would be like me bitching about the fat sidekick.
Yeah.
There's so many movies that have the fat comic sidekick.
Right.
So many movies. I don't give a shit. I really don't. And honestly, other than Peter Dinklage speaking out, I think there's a lot of other fucking people out there that are the same way. They just don't give a shit. If anything, it's more media for them. So what Peter Dinklage did was they had dwarfs lined up to play Snow White's dwarves in the movie. And
Hmm.
guess what? None of them have a job now.
Right.
Now it's all CGI.
Right.
People are talking about like, oh, they're gonna take our jobs. I don't know if you ever saw that South Park episode.
Yeah.
They took our jobs.
Right.
People want to talk about robotics and everything like that taking over jobs and stuff like that. Well, CGI just took over 7 people's job
Yeah.
because Peter Dinklage had a problem with it.
Right. And there's like, do you remember well, you mean I remember, there's a wrestler, his name is Dylan Postel.
Nope.
He
I
wound up
remember
playing
Geek the Clown.
yeah. Well, Dylan Postel played a wrestler named Hornswoggle.
Oh, I
Uh,
remember Hornswoggle.
right. Right.
Yeah.
He has come out and kind of butted up against Peter Dinklage's opinion. It's just
Uh huh.
like no, we're not all offended by this word. We're not all like, this is acting jobs and possibilities for people like us who want to be in
Yeah.
the entertainment field. And like,
Yeah.
it's not really holding them back at all. Like, the only thing that's holding them back is themselves. Um, in fact, Hornswoggle said that they take pride in the term of midget due to its
See?
history in the industry and its marketability.
Mm-hmm.
And even what's the comedian's name?
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. The short white dude.
Yeah, he's come out and it's just like, this is just bullshit.
Yeah,
And he
that's what I'm
uses the
saying. A
term
lot of them just don't give a shit about what Peter Dinklage is talking about.
no. It's like Peter Dinklage just choosing to be angry about something.
Yeah, and he has, it's what I've been saying for a long time. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. It just matters how loud you can scream.
Yeah, this is
And
true.
Peter Dinklage is more famous than all of them,
Yeah,
which immediately gives him a louder voice.
this is true.
So yeah, man, I just don't think it's really that big of a problem. I don't. And look at him. He has himself has played dwarves, big or small.
Right.
He played a role in a movie where he was mistaken as an elf.
Yep.
Now he did take offense to that. He does play a dwarf in Game of Thrones, doesn't he? Isn't it, they call him a dwarf? What do they call him in Game of Thrones? I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I don't know if they ever use that word.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie. I actually like Peter Dinklage as an actor, and I think he's a great actor. But, this shit here kind of upsets me. I'm not going to lie.
Well, it's sticking his nose in something that's not even him's business. Like, he wasn't
Yeah,
even
he wasn't
cast in
even
the
in the
movie.
Yeah, he wasn't in the movie.
Yeah.
And again, 7 people just lost their job because it offended him. That's the problem with being offended nowadays. You have the right to be offended. It doesn't hurt you.
No.
It doesn't cause bodily harm. Move on.
Right. So I've contemplated talking more about, like, reading more into what the D&D or the fantasy dwarves and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't really know how we can kind of get into this right now. But just to kind
Have
of
you ever
shine the
played?
light,
Have you ever played a fantasy dwarf?
I have. In fact, the last time I played a long story was a dwarf when we were playing together at Andy's house.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that was a dwarf with a very long captain's coat.
Nice. Two of my go ahead.
Go ahead, no, please go ahead.
I was gonna say two of my favorite D&D characters. One was a homebrew, but it's still D&D based. We should use all the D&D rules and everything. Two of my favorite characters. I've been playing D&D for a very long time. Two of my favorite characters were dwarf characters.
Right.
One, and this was the one of the very first dwarfs that I ever played, which was in AD&D, Dungeons and Dragons, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. His name was Tick Doth. So if you say it together, he's ticked off. Yeah.
Nice.
And he would bitch and complain and everything. He was a fighter, and he had this helmet that had a big spike on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the helmet was a little bit bigger than his head, but it was designed that way. Everyone thinks he picked it up off of somebody, and he would take the helmet after like a battle, whenever they're eating dinner at our campfire, he'd take the helmet and slam it onto the ground, and it was his bucket seat. And that was one of my first characters I ever made. I still have his character sheet somewhere. His name was Ticked Off. The second one I made was Captain Spaulding. He was a pirate captain with one leg. He had the eye patch, the peg leg, the big captain like Barbossa style hat, and he had a bandolier of pistols. And I loved this character to this absolute very day. There were some issues with that campaign, like with people playing the game, and the DM was just like, "We're done." And it killed me, bro, because we had like literally a couple of years into this campaign, and I had everything like invested. Like I had so much going on with this character. He's my favorite character to this day. If I could ever resurrect any of my characters and play them again, it would have been Captain Spaulding.
Man, if you still have them, man, like play them, dude. Like, why not? Like,
well, for starters, we play Pathfinder now. We haven't played in a long time, but we play Pathfinder now. But I just don't like bringing a character from one campaign into another campaign. Like if I would give anything to resurrect that campaign and bring back Captain Spaulding.
Like, why not though, dude? Like, why do you feel like you can't do that? Maybe this is even a better topic.
It's not even so much that I can. It's just that he had his chance. His time has ended. We have to move on to something else.
But his time ending was out of your control.
True, but it's kind of like that character is in that world, and that world doesn't exist anymore.
Mm.
You know, and it's time to move on. That's me. I don't like, and I can't play the same race or class back to back.
No.
So I like playing rogues, but I can't play a rogue in one campaign and then end it and start going to another campaign. Even if it's a different race, I can't play another rogue. Just like I don't
can
like
see
playing
wanting
the same
just to
class.
mix it up.
I can't play the same class, and I don't like playing the same race back to back.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've never played as an elf, and I've never played as anything other than a human and a dwarf once.
So I have only played a human one time.
Really?
This was a very short campaign. And I made my character a human specifically because I've never played a human.
Mm-hmm.
With so many options, why play what you already are? But so I've never played a human. And the fun little twist, the fun little thing that I did with this human was I made him incredibly racist.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, I made him super racist. Now, for those who haven't played D&D, race doesn't necessarily go with the color of your skin as it does here in the real world. We're not talking white people, black people, Hispanics, Latins, Latinos, Asians. We're not talking that. We're talking elves. We're talking tieflings. You've got halflings. You've got like
Dragonborn.
You've got these the creature classes are the races I'm referring to. Dwarves. And he was super racist. And you know what fucking happened?
Hmm.
Every single person in the party played a human. That has never happened before. I was looking to stir up shit.
Hmm.
I was literally looking to stir up shit. We all made our characters before we started playing the game. So
Right.
nobody knew what everybody else was playing. So I wanted
Right.
to be a racist human and everybody else played a human. I was like, fuck.
I think I'm going to steal that because okay, so I actually started chatting with these guys up here, and we're going to start playing a 5e game, but it's not exactly 5e. It's something weird.
Okay.
I
So
was
it's like
looking for it.
it's a 5e homebrew.
It's 5e homebrew,
Yeah.
and it's mostly D20 based too. I don't know. Is 5e all D20?
Mostly, yeah. Almost
Okay.
everything except for your attacks. Different attacks might be easy, like D12s, D6s. But
Okay.
everything you do as far as skills, all D20 based with advantage or disadvantage.
Okay. Okay. So I was thinking, it's like I'm going to what I feel like go against the norm of people when they create their characters, and I was just going to play a human wizard with no tragic backstory, is not evil.
Are both of your parents still alive?
Both of my parents are still alive and they're happily retired. In fact, my character has worked his entire life as a sailor or something, and his 5 children have grown up and are married off now. Now it's his time to enjoy his retirement, and he is choosing to do his retirement as adventuring. So I thought,
he just abandons his wife and kids?
No. She kisses him goodbye. She's like, okay, go adventure, go do the thing you've always wanted to do. You've taken care of us for so long.
Yeah.
Like, go and like enjoy yourself. Come back and whatever. Just go out and adventure and come back. Very like nothing bad. Like nothing tragic, nothing evil or anything like that. But what if he's racist? What if he's like the nicest guy, like the nicest wizard ever? But he's like super racist. So I'm thinking like maybe I'm gonna steal that. I might take
do
that.
it. Please do it and let me know how it plays
What
out.
if he just really fucking hates elves? Like,
well, so many people hate
or
elves.
what if he really like fucking hates like dwarfs or so? I don't know. Like,
no. If you're gonna make him racist, go full out. Hate all of them. If it's not like pure-blooded human or something like that, all of them hate him.
No. Oh no. Even better, be really specific. He really fucking hates halflings. Not all halflings, just halflings.
Okay.
But I've had an idea that I've been wanting to talk to you about, and I kind of don't want to record it because I think I have a brilliant idea for a dwarf character that I want to play if you and I ever play together again. But it's going to take a lot of world building to create this character. Okay. So I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy their background. I love that where they're from, love what they do. And after reading so much about like the origin of the Germanic or the fantasy dwarves, like this has gotten so changed and so, but like still has the same DNA. I think they're fun. I think fantasy dwarves are fun, and I think
and you have different races too of like dwarves.
Yeah.
Even World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft has different types of dwarves too.
Mm-hmm.
There's it's more than it. A lot of the fantasy worlds are expanding on the different races too. Not only is there elves, there's like dark elves. There's like the drow, that live in the underdark. You got wood elves. You've got tieflings, which are those are more demon actually. Sorry, so I can't really count them as the elves. But you've got different sub races too in a lot of the fantasy genres. And it's the same thing too. Like in D&D, you have all the different subgenres of dwarves. You got subgenres of elves. I mean, and they're expanding on that instead of just stereotyping them all just to one type too. They're expanding on it, and I like that.
Right.
I like when they do things like that.
Sure. Sure, man. I mean, it's building more of the world. It's not all black and white.
Mm-hmm.
It's all shades of gray.
Mm-hmm. And despite my absolute love for Viking era and Norse mythology and everything else like that, but one of the things that I've been talking about for a couple years now, I'm sure you know this. I've been going to Texas Renaissance Festival for just about 20 years now. Every year for about 20 years. We have our clan. We're called the IOK, which stands for the Intoxicated Order of the Kilt. We have two things: we get drunk and we wear kilts. That's it. Pretty sweet and to the point.
I love it.
But you always see when you go to Ren Fair, you see a lot of people dressed up thematically. There's a lot of pirates. There's a lot of Vikings. Then there's just a whole bunch of other weird genres and shit like that. And you got the anime people too. I hate those. But anyways, we're getting furries out there too.
Oh,
now.
fucking Christ! Don't get me started on fucking furries.
But anyways, so I finally decided what I want to do, and I've decided on this a couple of years now, and it's going to take a lot of money to get somebody to help build me the armor. But I want to be a dwarf, and I want to be like the medieval fantasy style dwarven armor, like from Tolkien or something like that. I want to be in Renaissance Fair, garbed up in dwarven armor.
Dude, why don't you?
That's how much I do love dwarves.
That's awesome, man. I think that's fantastic. I think why do you want to have somebody else make the armor for you?
Time, money, and I don't know what the fuck I'd be doing.
Okay, well, you've seen what they can do with that like foam rubber stuff from Hobby Lobby.
I've looked it up.
And stuff.
Yeah, I've looked it up, and these people have been doing it for a while, and they've got damn good skills. I'm very, very good at painting miniatures. I'm not good. I don't even know where to start as far as to create my own armor. I would probably spend twice as much money just by trial and error trying to make it, and than I would to just have somebody make it for me. And I would actually, my armor, I would go more for the foam style, like the cosplay style first. And then if I ever win the lottery, maybe get a full set of like awesome leather and metal armor.
Ooh.
That would be dope. But that shit's so expensive.
Yeah, but
it really is. Even just leather armor is so expensive.
It is. I started to price out some stuff last time I was at Ren Fair, and I was like, no. I have to take out a loan. It's better. I could just get a new car. Like, I'll be all right.
Like, bro, I love dwarves so much. I keep an axe right next to my seat over here. I'm not even lying. This is just sitting over here next to my seat. Why? Because two main weapons of dwarves are like mauls or like warhammers and axes. But yeah, I just realized it too. I was like, hey, wait a minute, don't I have like a fucking axe sitting right here? Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you you talking with me today about dwarves and kind of getting this out there in light of what's going on with Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, and let's just not worry about the bad. Let's just roll up some D&D games and play with some dwarves the way they should be, as badass, bearded, drinking men and women.
Yeah, and not CGI.
Well, I also want to wrap up tonight with discussion with a quote. This is an anonymous quote.
We're going back to quotes now.
Right.
All right.
This is an anonymous quote, and I think this speaks a lot for this topic tonight.
Okay.
Short people. They can maintain a great perspective on life because they're always looking up.
Straight to hell.
Thank you for joining us on this week's Ozzy and the Freak Talk Geek.
Straight to hell.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns about us, please hit us up on all of our social media, OATFTG, Ozzy and the Freak Talk Geek, on Instagram, Facebook, X, Blue Sky. Look us up. We're out there, and we would love to chat with you. So for the Freak, I'm OZ, and we've been talking geek.
All right. Cookie.